Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report. This is a recovery-based podcast, but don't worry, if you're not sober or not ready to be sober, we talk about plenty of other things, including sports, trending topics, and quite a bit of nonsense, especially from Corey. My name is Shawn. I'm your host. I'm joined by just Corey and Bill tonight. Greg is missing in action. We're sending out the National Guard a little later tonight. If you spot him, please send us an SOS. But also, more importantly, please remember to listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our videos will be posted each week, so you can watch them on YouTube and Facebook. But as always, please be sure to download on your listening platforms. Remember to like and subscribe on all social media outlets with the handle @TrudgeReportPod. We are brought to you by the wonderful, fantastic Stella Mix Podcast Management and our wonderful producer and editor, Miss Janine Stella. Gentlemen, good evening. Happy Monday. 2 nights in a row for those that, I guess by the time you listen to this, you'll hopefully have listened to the previous week's episode, but we are recording 3 episodes in about a 5-day span to accommodate everyone's travel plans and holiday plans. So we did one last night, Sunday, December 15th, and this is the very next night, Monday, December 16th. So we are happy to be here. Bill, how are you tonight?
I'm good. It's a little odd to do the back-to-back, so I don't have too much of an update, except for I'd rather do 5 of these in one day than go to the symphony or wherever Greg is right now, the orchestra or whatever lousy show he's at. So shout out to Greg. You live in Cleveland. It's already a lousy city, but you're making it even lousier by going to some event like that. Coming in hot. And also,
however, if it was your girlfriend's idea, wonderful idea. We hope you have a fantastic time. And we can't wait to hear about it.
And Greg really loves you. And yeah, so on top of that, I'd like to say that, yeah, I'm just happy to get through my Monday and be here with the gentlemen. I think we had a good time last night, and I'm ready to hear Corey's whole pitch deck on his spiritual vibe tonight. So.
Yeah, what is that like tonight, Corey? It's like 2 nights back to back. There's no Eagles game to report on. Any update on the drone situation flying over your house?
I was actually just looking, and nothing substantial apparently after 24 hours. But
the governor of New Jersey, was it Murphy or something like that?
That weird
he was
fuck.
saying, like today he went on air saying, like, we don't know what it is, but we promise you there's no threat, which I'm not really sure if that's like true, because if you don't know what it is, you really don't know. But they're saying to little or no foreign threat or something like that. Something weird like that is what they said. So
great.
I think they're delivering pizzas to Christie over
it's
there.
Like is it like the Domino's thing? The 30-minute delivery or less, and like they just drop it with the can of
for
Pepsi,
the big
like
fella.
Commercial. Yeah.
Not to dwell on that, but it just, I don't even have to say it, but it just does not make sense at
of course
all.
not.
None of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You got Trump in the social mentions being like, they know what's going on. The government knows.
Shoot them down.
Like, totally stirring the pot. Yeah.
My man. He's like, when I get in there, I'll fix it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Trump, you're already elected, bro. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So are we drawing this towards that balloon thing though? Remember the balloon thing?
The Chinese balloons.
Is this tied in?
Oh, that's right. I wouldn't be surprised.
Now drones.
Just saying. I always preface with this. We don't get political on this podcast, but this is a pretty objective statement here. If anybody's out there is wondering why people might like Trump, maybe it's because he's like, the government's fucking lying to you. And we're like, yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? Like
was completely objective.
It's not that hard to bite into.
I do think the drone thing can be a bipartisan issue, though. I'm pretty sure Dems and Republicans alike don't want drones flying over their homes.
No. But anyway, this podcast is becoming a full-time job, so unreal. But yeah,
we're gonna have like 3 weeks off. Don't worry.
What am I gonna do on Mondays?
Well, you could still just talk as much nonsense as you want in our group thread. That's fine.
I might just hop on here and just look at the camera.
Just do some Facebook Live stuff, dude. Trudge Report Facebook Live and record it.
There's one thing that the world needs less than flying drones. It's that.
No, that's not true. The people are clamoring for it, Corey. They want content. They are clamoring.
Corey, I actually had somebody tell me today. They said I used to get the notifications about the podcast all the time, and then they said now I've never seen one. So
What notifications?
On
like
YouTube?
on their page, on their reel, or their feed. What's it called? What do the kids call it these days?
I still get the little bubble on my YouTube notifications because I subscribe to the show.
It's probably the drone's fault, first off, and second, I haven't done a reel in a while. We need
so that's what you can do.
Keep it real, dude. Keep it real.
Keep it real. REEL. That's what you can do over the Christmas holidays. Upload some shorts and some reels.
I actually made a reel last night about Shawn's pop stroke experience. It was so funny to me.
Oh yeah.
Did you? I don't ever get to see this stuff. Where do I find this?
I didn't send it to you. I just sent it to my friends because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Because with the black course and the red course thing, yeah.
Yeah, are we shouting down racism tonight, or are we?
That was not a shout out. I was just letting
Shawn's
the kind gentleman know that a certain course was easier and you'd have more fun.
That was the best.
Like the girl in high school, you know what I mean? Like it's
Oof.
Next year we're gonna do Shawn's top 3 questionably racist moments on the podcast from 2024.
I don't think there is.
Kick off the 2025 New Year with all that good stuff.
I will say that this should air, if we are doing it the way I think we're doing it, the day after Christmas. So
Correct.
We kind of screwed up last night on not saying, "Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody." But hope you had a Merry Christmas.
Point. Yeah. We hope everyone listening had a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah.
And you had fun.
You're coming down on the Christmas high, and now you have us.
You learn the value of giving to others and not just receiving, and spending time with loved ones.
Hey, I got a not. It's not a hot take, but I got something that's might be semi-surprising to you guys.
Probably not, but go ahead.
This year, I've said it a couple times, and I think something within me is changing.
Ooh.
Dude,
Rudy?
Yeah, I like. That was so fucking.
That was
you guys.
Dude, that was a softball, Corey. You gave him a softball.
This is stupid. No, but I think I kind of like spooky season more these days. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm growing up. Maybe I
like that.
It's puberty. I don't know, dude. I've always been a Christmas guy, but this year it's particularly. I also did a lot for spooky season, but
I have a question for you too.
What's that?
During the holidays, during your active addiction, what drink? 2-part question. What drink would you steal from the cabinet to get drunk off when no one was looking? And what drugs would you do in and around the parameters of the family residence you were at? Corey, you're up first.
Oh, I like that.
I don't
this is
know.
Oh, cool. I thought this was just a Corey.
I don't know about like specifically around holiday season, although I do remember it being cold. But I used to go over to my friend. I'll name drop her kind of. My friend Madison's house, and we would.
Maddie, dude.
Not that Maddie.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But definitely. No, but I used to walk to her house, which was far, and we would take her dad's liquor and stuff. And a lot of the times it was gin. Okay. And we would take shots of gin, and gin's clear, right? Is all gin clear?
The hardest to digest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So we would do the classic refill it with water thing or whatever. But anyway, we would take shots of gin and get hammered, and then not until I came into recovery and told that story to somebody, were they like, "Really, you would do that?" And I'm like, "What? I thought I was like just like the rest of you guys here. What are you talking about? You never did that?" And they're like, "You don't shoot gin."
But
Like
so at your family,
like shots.
all right, at your family event though, I'm saying like Christmas Day when everyone was there. I know you were doing something. What were you doing?
I didn't have family events.
You haven't hit rock bottom, Shawn. Do you have any?
Yes. So wine was always easy to get my hands on at family dinners. Italian, you know what I mean. I know the DeLuca family knows all about that, and like. You can mask it pretty well, you know what I mean? Get like it's very easy to get some of that. I always smoked weed, beforehand, and I would sneak out and I'd go for a walk, especially if there was like a dog. Oh, walk the dog, that kind of thing. I'd smoke a little more, but I would stick with like Xanax and stuff like that, like the easy stuff to kind of pop.
Low
and then
key.
Yeah, and then I wasn't like smoking crack in the bathroom, but I would definitely go in the
That'd be
bathroom,
wild.
and I was a snorter of my pills, so I like to crush them up, and I'd go in the bathroom and crush them. And I had a little blue. I'll never forget. I still can remember it. I had a little blue pill, carrying case and crusher, and I would just with a straw
Like a
that was already
shooter, like a shotgun shooter.
it
That
was
you could
like the
flip
bottom.
over and just-
You could. It was three compartments. The top part was the
Yep.
cutter. And then it had a grinder, so you could crush it up in the middle part.
Yeah,
And
we
then the
call that a
bottom,
shotgun.
yeah, the bottom was a
Yeah.
storage compartment. So I'd go in and I had a straw that fit in there that was cut down to size to like
You're a fancy
the
dude.
tip of it barely got up above. So I didn't even have to like put it on the back of the toilet. I could just crush it up and right in the thing. And
Did you guys use the
pocket.
hose clamps ever? The hose clamps, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
to
know
cut them
what I'm
out.
talking about?
I know what
It would,
hose
like-
clamps are.
Yeah, it would like grind it up. It would grind the pill up really fine.
Oh yes,
like a
like a
cheeseburger
grater,
thing.
almost a grater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude,
I
used to
have,
stick
but
pills in the microwave to loosen them up.
Really?
So
the best was when I realized that like time release morphine,
yeah,
all you have to do is rub the coating off, and it's not time release anymore, and it's instant release. And that was like
there's a certain one not like
the
that.
most
You have to put in the
glorious-
microwave, but I'm not going to name it. But yeah,
and then
So-
later on in life, the morphine, they used to put those little gel beads inside. I don't know if you remember that. They used to put so specifically you couldn't just rub the coating off and crush it up and snort it or shoot it. They had these little like gel beads inside of it to deter you from
Those bastards, dude.
using
This
it.
is America.
Yeah. I know.
You
How
know?
dare
they
they?
break. You can break those now.
No, you can't. It was just a lot. It was just a lot harder. But yeah.
Pain in the ass. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was their way to like get away from a lawsuit.
Mhm.
But yeah, number one, when you were talking about the smoking the weed, the walk thing, that'd be the funniest. Like I know in Pittsburgh, you know,
And I had
for you
cousins
guys-
that smoked too, so it was kind of like, "Hey, we're gonna go play
Same.
soccer," you know what I mean, like that kind of
But
stuff.
do you remember like doing that discreetly? I had to be discreet about it because they already knew I had issue with drugs. But like coming back and when the heat hits your face and you go back in the house and you're just super baked and you just can't even hide it.
And you're like, "Yo, I fucking,
you just
I
hide.
totally look okay right now."
Yeah.
So I would even take it a step further, and this is how like insane I was. I would like come back in from like going out with my cousins again who smoked weed, and we would go smoke and come back, and I would like so over the top obvious, but like too obvious. I'd be like, "Mom, we got pulled over by the cops," and I'd make this like just kidding, ha. And she like, I don't know. I was like just looking back on it, it's like, God, I was such an idiot.
I was
but-
much more like, don't put any attention on
yeah,
yourself.
I was
Like,
the opposite. I was
walk away.
like, let's just fucking, go all
Just
in.
hide over there and steal some shit. So
She's like, you fucking
like,
bastard.
my uncle's house, like his big dining room, and all the liquor cabinet was right next to it, but it was in between the kitchen. So like people would be in and out of the kitchen, But I would go, yep, I gotta throw. Anybody need their plate taken out? And I'd like turn the corner.
So helpful.
I'd grab wild turkey, whatever it was, and just
Yeah.
slug that shit down and like
Yeah.
I'd whip it back in there. And so
Yeah.
then after I had a few of those, I'd go out to his garage. Shout out to my uncle, man. I love you, man. But yeah, I'd go out to his garage and
Uncle
like, he had
Henry.
he had tons of wine when it's time to go. Just take like a bottle of wine in
Yeah.
my
And wine will
my
get
jacket
you
or-
really good and drunk, dude. There was something about
Oh,
wine.
dude, you wake up with that heartburn the next day after
Oh.
drinking all that wine. Oh, Jesus.
But I was the same
Yeah.
way. Any liquor cabinet, I would just take a few pulls real quick from a bottle. Like I didn't have it. It didn't matter what it was. Correct, Corey. Like technically, you're like people don't do shots of gin, but I would have, and that's how.
I
That's
did.
why we know.
That
That's
would
why we
never
know we're
Well,
real
that's why-
alcoholic. That's why we're real alcoholics because we
thank
would
you.
drink
That's why
anything, no
having
matter what.
Having another alcoholic think that's weird. I'm like, what?
Well,
Maybe
they're-
you
they're-
don't belong.
Yeah,
here,
they're probably
bud.
just a
Yeah.
hard drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe
Gin
a
and
light
tonic, dude.
drinker. What
Gin
the
and
fuck?
tonic used to be my though. Like in the restaurant industry, it was so
The
easy
song?
just to. No,
Or no, it's
well,
gin
that
and
too,
juice.
but because it was so easy. Like gin and tonic, it was like Sprite almost. You put a little lime in it, and you put it in the white styrofoam cup.
I've
with
never
the top
had it.
being behind the bar, and I could just chug that all day long. Pop a few Xannies with it, and the workday goes by.
Shawn,
Great.
hey, Shawn drinking gin and tonic, taking Xanax. I mean, everybody's shit
The
ended
work-
up in his pocket.
Hey,
Like,
the
the
workday
whole
went by so fast. The workday went by.
Everybody's
so fast.
keys were in his fucking pocket by the end of the night.
And
So
the
fast.
nearest gas station obviously got robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
But it was
sure.
it was easy to drink.
Shawn, tell the charity bucket story.
Oh, at
we allowed to tell
Dunkin'
that?
Donuts? Yeah, I don't care. I've made amends
tell that
for it. I worked at a Dunkin' Donuts on, I'll even shout it out, Military Trail and Hypoluxo Road, I
Yes, I
think.
love this.
Janine knows the area. I'm pretty sure that was the street. I know it was Military. It might have been like Lantana or Boynton Beach Boulevard. I'm pretty sure it was Hypoluxo. I worked there at the end of my senior year of high school and just after graduation. And I did not work the morning shift because that's just not a good thing for anybody.
Less charitable donations coming
Yeah.
in the morning.
So me and this dude, and I can't remember his name, we worked like 2 or 3 evening shifts together. And he was a good kid, but he was a pothead, and he was, I'm sure, up to his own forms of no good. And we used to make fake charities and like actual baskets with like we decorate them and everything, like we Boys and Girls Club, like whatever it was. And
bottle
we
caps.
bottle caps. Shout out to initials RS there. RS. Shout out to initials. You'll figure it out by the end of the show, Corey. And we used to, as people would come through the drive-through, we would literally just put it in their face, like, donate to this cause. Don't like, and just, I mean, bombard them. No, not Roy Stella.
Patient on the front.
Not Roy Stella, Janine. Don't worry, he's safe. And just and like people would donate. Like, I mean, we made out, a few $100 usually every night extra on top.
Did you ever notice like which like causes like raised more? Were there any that were prevalent?
No, I can tell you that I did not keep track of that. That would have been an interesting case study, but I did not keep track of that.
No one had a spreadsheet in there or anything
for this.
So yes, I did make amends for that. And
Corey, the owner comes in and he busts Shawn with the Excel spreadsheet of different charities. Profit margin.
But the good, see, I was smart enough to make them
this month, guys.
I was smart enough to make them names of like real charities, or that sounded extremely real, so that people like Boys and Girls Club, Cancer Foundation, like whatever it was, stuff like that. Autism, or I played in muscular dystrophy baseball tournaments growing up, like for the cause for muscular dystrophy. So I had those going on. Nobody can resist a good, MS or MD, muscular dystrophy, whatever.
Oh my God.
MS is multiple sclerosis.
And ladies and gentlemen, the fact about this is Shawn in his life since then has made amends as a person, as a soul in humankind. Like a million times over.
Hey,
so that's
now I work in the child welfare industry with a zillion and one non-for-profit causes. But Corey, to answer your question, yes, I made amends. Obviously, I couldn't make amends like in that specific way. I ended up getting fired from that job. Go figure. For something completely unrelated. Although I think they knew I was stealing, because I would also steal from Dunkin' Donuts, because why not? Right. But they fired me for like something that was unrelated to all that, but I'm pretty sure they knew I was doing all that stuff eventually. And they just were like, well, we got to find some like reason to can this guy. But when I eventually got sober, my mentor, his idea was come up with a certain monetary figure and donate that same monetary amount to like multiple different charities, like 3 or 4 different charities, and I did that. It took me a little time, obviously, but I did that. And I'd like to think that there's some good vibes out there and that money helps somebody somewhere. But I want to thank all the people at the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru at Military Trail and Hypoluxo who donated, because essentially your money eventually got to good causes. It just took 15 extra years or whatever.
Thanks for
Shawn was lapping the GM and income, like he was fucking making $250 a year.
That shit was going out as quick as it was coming in those days. And then shortly after that, or like during that job, is when I discovered opiates. So
I had this buddy Jim in Pittsburgh. You kind of remind me of him, and Jim worked at every, like in your past life remind me of him.
Right.
But he was like one of my best buds, but like he worked at every fast food like place, every gas station like you could ever imagine. And like, so one time, you pull up to the gas station, sure enough, Jim's back there and he's going, just give me $40, fill it up, to the guy on the thing. Or one time we were like in the Boston Market drive-thru and me and my buddy were sitting there.
Shout out to Boston Market, dude.
Yeah, that shit was
best mac and cheese ever.
we hear this guy is taking forever in front of us in the drive-through line. There's even drive-through at Boston Market. Shout out to Boston Market. You're right. So then he's like, all we hear is, just give me $20. Sure enough, it's Jim in the window handing out a ton of Boston Market, probably $60 worth of that stuff for the dub.
Just selling it for himself.
Yeah, when you get the flat number, it's like, it's up. Yeah, just give me $20.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what? So yeah.
Janine loves Boston Market too. They're the best, dude. We had one in Vero Beach, but I think it closed down. I haven't seen one in years.
It's a hardy thing. I don't think it would do well in Florida. It's too
cold weather.
That's like a cold weather.
We had them in Virginia, so
they're up in Gainesville. There's one in Gainesville, I think.
Well, that's barely even Florida up there.
Yeah, that's a whole different
south. You got to drive north to go south.
Hey, I don't think I told you guys. Did we done a pod since then?
Yesterday.
Bill, you weren't on last week.
We did a pod yesterday.
Bill, you weren't on last. I forgot you weren't on last week because you were taking your thing, your license thing. I saw a bunch of the Ocala boys. I went up to Inverness, center of the state, right near Ocala.
In Scotland?
So you remember Seth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Seth is up there, multiple years sober, doing really, really well.
Was my boy Joe B there?
Yes, I saw Joe Burns, dude, and he asked me to come speak at his like home group's Christmas event. It's the young people's group up there in Inverness. Again, it's like 30 minutes. It's like Port St. Lucie and Stewart. Like that's Inverness and Ocala. And saw a bunch of people from the mountain and Joe B specifically, decked out in his Harley gear and just
got married.
Looking, yeah, he did. I met his wife. I met his wife, dude. I met his wife, and his house got completely flooded in the hurricane, but he's insurance paying for it, and he's I don't know exactly how much or what, but he pretty much has it all cleaned out and gutted, and everything's good, and he's gonna like seal it all up, but he's doing really well overall, and he gives his love to everybody, and had a great talk with him. So here's the crazy thing: we know that Dustin knows him, right? Our good friend Dustin. They're like best friends. Wade was in prison with Joe B, which we knew that from years ago. And Tyler, my buddy Tyler, who came with us, grew up with Joe B because Joe B's from the Hope Sound area. Yeah, he grew up with him and used to get high. They used to run, get in trouble together years and years ago in like high school. And
he's a charismatic dude, He's like, he just is Joe B, you know what I mean?
Small world. And then we go down there and there's two people from Hope Sound there that just happened to be visiting a family member and going to that meeting. And I was also speaking at another recovery group Sunday in Hope Sound when I got back, and they were there for that as well. And it was just a lovely little round table of events. But yeah, I had a great time. Inverness is I don't know what I feel about it. They have a pond. It's called Cooter Pond. So I don't know. It's just fun to say. Cooter Lake on Cooter Pond.
Is there an Inverness in Scotland, or am I wrong there?
Yes. No, there's an Inverness in Scotland and Ohio, actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, in Ohio. But cooter apparently is a type of turtle, which I've only known one type of cooter in my life. But
Beaver Creek, that's in Pennsylvania. Come on. Beaver Falls is in Pennsylvania.
That's right near Altoona. No. So
no,
yeah,
that's
good
the other
trip. But yeah, I
side
saw
of the
Joe
state,
B.
Shawn. That's the east side. Come on.
I forgot. I'm sorry. But yeah,
shout out Joe
time.
B. Love that guy.
Yeah.
They need to get
and like 6 or 7 of the other Ocala boys were there too, which was really cool. So,
well, the mountain is off the ground technically.
Bring the mountain back. Unreal.
You should organize it. I
can't do it.
We tried to. Me and Marty, R.I.P. to Marty. Like
what?
Right the year before Marty, it passed.
Dude, yeah. Marty. Okay.
We tried to.
Marty.
You were there. He spoke up there. Little Marty.
Whatever.
And Toothpick Marty, yeah. And
hey, Ron, you need a ride? Fuck
you. Yeah. But it's a lot, man. It's a lot of coordinating. You get in the weeds really quick because you just don't. You would need to be in contact with one of those, Joe B or one of those guys that had the time to actually do it. It would take a mammoth effort. I
don't have the time, but I will tell you that I truly believe hard number that at least 50 people from this area would get up and go.
Well, I don't disagree. I don't know if 50 is a lot. To be honest with you. I don't think so. I think half of that number say they would go. Well, when push comes to shove, they wouldn't go. But I do think we could garner up a good enough participation along with like maybe Ocala and some of the get
Carolina,
old
yeah.
Joe Lenderman on the line and Monty and them and get the band back together. I think we could garner up enough participation. But to Bill's point, it's like it's such a daunting task trying to organize it.
Can they just do it?
My wife went. They had the women's one. It was like 20 minutes away at the same place we were looking at, Bill. I forget the name of it now, but they had it at that same location. And she said it was great and a lot of fun, but just not even close to the same. Not even close. And plus, Pretty Place had been like torn through by the hurricane, so they couldn't even go there, which stinks. But so we'll see.
Shout out good memories. I mean, some things are just meant to be memories, but
right.
There's other things that could come along, you know?
Travesty. That should
like
be a part
Corey, if you want to host a
right?
retreat at your house, your new house in St. Lucie,
it is way out there.
Campfire in the back, you know?
Roast some mallows, dude.
We could start there.
It's way out here, but I got room for I got room for
way
50.
out there. You're right off of Becker.
You're way out there. It's like its own retreat land out there.
Yeah, make the drive once, dude. You'll never want to do it again.
Dude, you don't even have cell service. It's like a different country out there. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with
I got you.
When the mallow's flaming, you stick it on the chocolate.
Honestly, I love Port St. Lucie, though. It's been really good.
Let me talk about that, though.
You've always talked very highly about them.
The people here are salt of the earth.
Are you going to be a rehab bro soon or what? Are you going to be like VP of Eastern Development for the Western
Pure Tribe?
So I don't know. Yeah.
Trident Recovery.
Pure Tribe.
I don't know if you guys remember this. Okay, settle down. Settle down, boys.
Agape.
Settle down.
Cooter Pond Recovery.
I don't know.
Agape is the real word for love.
I'm going to sign off.
That's why we call it that.
I'm going to hang up. I don't know if you guys remember this,
we didn't release the news early to the people. Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, all right. Moving on. Let's talk about our fucking cars.
Is that the shirt? Summit Recovery?
Yeah. This is hilarious, guys.
What were you going to say, Corey? Go ahead.
We're past that. Let's move on.
No, please.
I'm past it. I lost it. Yep, it's gone.
Okay, you lost it. That's why we're past it.
I didn't lose it, but let's go.
All right.
Keep moving.
Is there a different ratio with the stores up there, Corey? What do you feel like? Are you feel like you're out a little bit, or how do you feel?
I feel like 26 minutes and 59 seconds. Let's go.
What is the closest store to your home? What is it, and how far is it?
I don't know. There's gonna be a Wawa.
What if you got to make a beer run, dude?
It's gonna be a Wawa. 4 minutes.
Is the Wawa that would be the closest? Because that's about 10 minutes from your house.
That's not even built yet.
No, it's
at the
4
top
minutes.
at the top of what's it called? Citrus, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know where it is, Corey.
Don't
I frequent the area.
Yeah, next time
and I'll shoot your house.
Come
up.
by.
All right, edit that out, Janine.
Great, just got fucking threatened.
We know.
Frequents the area, doesn't stop by and say hi.
Well,
he was gonna help you move, but he just
he
thought you had too many people. You know, he just didn't want to be that guy and make you feel, uncomfortable and all that. So,
anyway,
all right. So our idea tonight, which we kind of already had a show already, but we want to talk about our vehicles, our cars that we've had in the past, the damage we've done to them, the type of cars, stories with them, just whatever it is. Do you want to go first, Bill?
Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead.
Let me see. Shawn, this was an organic thing we were talking about, and I don't know where this will go, but I had a few funny car memories myself. I'll preface with I didn't get my driver's license until I was 30 years old and lived in Florida. I did get a permit at the age of 15 or 16 when I literally lived on my own. However, when I saw the permit, I started driving immediately and got pulled over, obviously, like within a month. And ever since then, I was like, well, catch me if you can. I just continue to drive and continue to rack up suspension after suspension. Luckily, I hit a rock bottom where I couldn't afford a car for a long enough point that I ran the suspensions out. You know what I mean? I finally did that.
Statute of limitations just ran out on those.
Well, I will say this too, now that I think about it. There was a time, so in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, you do not go to jail if you drive under suspended license. They just tow your vehicle. So that was my philosophy. Go ahead and tow my vehicle. I'll go ahead and get it. get pulled over one time. Sure enough, guy goes, "Yep, we're towing your vehicle," and tows my vehicle, leaves me on the side of the road. I immediately call for a ride. I take a ride down to the pound where they impounded my vehicle, pay the money to get my vehicle out. I myself go around the back, retrieve the vehicle, get in the vehicle, and pulling out of the pound. And sure enough, the same cop is sitting in front of the pound, finishing the paperwork, and immediately pulls me over again. So I got 2 driving under suspensions in one day. Yeah, I don't know if
took
that's
you
a
to Pound
record.
Town, dude.
He said, "People like you are the
Yay.
reason
I
why
thought that
this
was
law."
funny. I don't know. I thought that was
What the hell?
He took you to Pound Town.
He really do. He wanted to. He wanted to fucking cuff me up and
Oh,
throw me in
yeah.
a jail cell. I know
The
that.
furry pink ones.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's what he had in mind. So another one is when I was 16, I bought my first vehicle, a Toyota Camry, 2-door, boys, 2-door, believe it or
2
not,
doors. Sleek.
evergreen green. You want it? Come on, Janine. And so I buy
Nice.
this vehicle, and sure enough, would you guys believe it? 7 months later, the thing, I'm driving it down the road and it blows up. I did not realize I had to change the oil in the vehicle. I did not know that until I blew up my $5,000 car. So that with a multitude of other just okay, so like my last car like had every light on the dash lit up, needed tires, probably evaded a few boots in my day. Like you guys ever get the boot and get that off of there?
We don't have that in Florida, Bill.
What? Really?
The boot?
Wow.
Yeah. They don't
I've-
have it. I've never seen it around here. I know what you're talking about.
They
Yeah, the
definitely have
boot
city
stuff.
booting around here. That's
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, no, that's
I've
the thing,
never seen
because-
one.
because the communities that Advantage used to manage, like that would happen. So they
It's the
have
thing
it.
that goes on your tire, Janine.
Yeah.
Janine's asking question marks. It
See,
goes
they
on your
definitely
tire
don't.
and it locks it up and you can't drive. They put like an actual like metal, it's like called a boot.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
cool.
boot.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, we do have it. She didn't know what it was, but she knows they have it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I've never seen one in Florida myself. However, I will say that driving for me was always an adventure. You know, you never knew if the car was going to get towed, tires flattened, so, or any of that stuff. So yeah, I want to hear your guys' driving stories. Sorry,
I'd like to. Producer Janine just put something in the thread that her ass was booted or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how that came through.
Whoa,
Something,
What?
Janine.
I
Would you
missed
like to
that.
tell that story? If I'm not putting you on the spot,
Sure. You want me on video for this?
I don't care. Whatever you want.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, keep talking. Let me just do my self view. Show self view. Okay, here I am. So this is so fucked up. I was literally I had gotten in a car accident right before Stella and I got married, and I was rear-ended, and of course I was rear-ended by someone who was someone's baby daddy who didn't have insurance, and he was smoking a blunt with no shirt on with dreadlocks, and he like ran into the back of me. Anyway, it was
my kind of guy.
It was epic. And so
it was Florida me.
and it was a hit and run because he like scooted off into the Kmart Plaza on Forest Hill and Military.
Kmart, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was bad.
Was it open back then or was it abandoned by that point?
It was still abandoned. Still abandoned. So he took off and I was like, oh, I'll just get an attorney and see what I can do. And so the attorney was downtown West Palm. And unfortunately, I parked in a lot down there where I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was metered back then. This was like 2014 at the time. I don't remember what happened, but I was booted and I had to wait until I paid an ungodly amount of money and had to.
So much money.
Yeah, it was awful. But they used to boot people in my development if they didn't have a parking permit that they lived here, which happens, I think, a lot. They stopped doing that. But yeah, it's not fun to get your car booted because you can't go anywhere. Can't do anything.
Yeah. Can't get it off. Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah,
Stella out.
Funny. Stella out. That was good. Thank you, Miss Janine. So Bill, I had I was similar. I wasn't 30, but I didn't get my permit at all. I just got my license at 18 and I lost my license 3 days after I got it. And I never got it back legally until I got sober at age, I was like a year and some change sober. So like 23, 24 years old. But in Florida, they will take you to jail for driving on a suspended license. The first time you can say, "Oh, I didn't know." And they put without knowledge. And then the next time it happens to you, it says it's with knowledge. They can tell that they've already done it once. So I did, which is honestly like we could have a different discussion about the overcrowding of our jails and prisons. Like that's the stupidest thing to take someone to jail for. But anyways, it happened to me multiple times. I would always get real like, all right, this time, like I'm going to be really careful and conscientious of driving because I don't have a license and I'm seatbelt and blinker and 2 and 10 and all that stuff. And then, 2-3 months later, I'd just get complacent again and be smoking a blunt or doing whatever and eventually get pulled over. But I had a dark green. See, you guys hear stories about the silver Thunderbird. I know you guys know the infamous silver Thunderbird. Shout out to Hungry Howie's Jensen Beach. But
no sponsorship.
My first car was a dark green.
Is that the one you learned how to tint to put the windows down just correctly?
Kinda, yeah. Yes, that's that one, yeah.
My man.
Okay. I had that one.
Was Grizz ever in that vehicle?
Grizz was not in that vehicle, no.
Okay.
I didn't have that one very long because Bill, I too blew a hole in the engine block for not changing the oil. Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I just had better things to do, I guess. But that was that one. And then I had my first 3 cars was that car. I had a blue, like a light sky blue Buick LeSabre. And then I had a shit brown in color Delta 88 Oldsmobile, which they're like almost the same exact kind of car. And the glove box in the Oldsmobile didn't work. So like you'd just be driving and it would just like violently fall open all the time. And I never like cleared it out because every time it would fall open, shit would fall out of it. And I just always just put it back in and like slammed it harder. Just slammed it harder. The Oldsmobile was the car that I had the cup holder in the center on the like there's like a hump on the floor next to like driver's side and passenger side where you put your feet. There's like a hump, and I had the cup holder and the change holder that wasn't fastened to anything. It was just like on there, and I'd always go to Taco Bell late at night when I was drunk, and I'd get a large fruit punch combo with whatever chicken quesadilla, and it would just I swear like. Every time I got it, I'd make a turn, forget that it wasn't fastened. It would just fall over either on, depending on which way I was turning, either on my feet or whoever
your
was.
Parents never let you drive their vehicles.
Well, that's the crazy thing. They did.
Your mom would murder you if you dumped a fruit punch all over her.
They did eventually. Yeah, my mom had a gray Ford Taurus that I used to drive, and a lot of stories about cars. But yeah, I had those. I've been impounded. I mean, that's the same thing. Not only do they take you to jail in Florida, but they'll impound your car, and it's ridiculously expensive. And the best was when the windows didn't work properly, and you have to like. for those who will eventually be watching this, you might see some funny comments by producer Janine.
That does count.
Yes, it does count. I've had so many, and I've treated them like crap.
Did you ever live in an RV with a hole in it or anything like that?
Yes, well, it was a trailer. I lived in a trailer with a hole in it because I get where you're going with this. Bill wants me to tell a story. So I lived in a very nice single wide trailer on Gateway Road and Hypaluxo. There's Hypaluxo again. Gateway and Hypaluxo.
You're very astute in that area.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, Gateway. No, it couldn't have been Gateway. They would run the same way. Gateway and Congress. Sorry, Gateway and Hypaluxo run the same direction. Gateway and Congress down south. And I had a friend. His name was Dan, but his nickname was Grizz because he was a large, hairy man. And we lived right on the turn, like right on like the roundabout turn. And Grizz ran his truck through our trailer once, completely drunk, and there was just demolished there was like the front of it was a bedroom. And then the kitchen, and then the living room, and then the bedroom and the bathroom in the back. And he demolished the front bedroom, and the kitchen was just a complete wide open, gaping hole in the front of the trailer. and we proceeded to live there for like 2 or 3 more months before we moved out. So shout out to Grizz. He was really sorry. He gets out, this classic like drunk, like gets out of the truck like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like you're sorry. You literally just, ruined our house. But no matter. We lived there for a while. So I have
You got any beer in
the
fridge?
question that Janine just asked is, does insurance cover that? Janine, I don't know. We didn't have insurance.
Grace definitely didn't have
We did not have
insurance.
insurance. Nobody at that point in my life had any kind of coverage on their life or their homes or vehicles whatsoever. We were deep in the throes of addiction, and yeah, bummer. And the crazy part was, like, a few weeks after that, the woman I was living with, which that's a story for another time, and her cousin and his girlfriend went to rob someone. I think they were doing a breaking and entering, and they got arrested. And for some reason, I was so dope sick, I didn't go. I was just like, I can't do it. I just got to lay here. And they never came
Dude,
home.
you know you hit. See, Corey, that's how you know someone hits bottom. They're too dope sick to go rob somebody.
They never came home. And I'm like, oh my God, like 24 hours later, I'm like, they're not home. Something is wrong. And sure enough, like 3-4 days later, they still weren't home. They were all in jail. And at this point, I'm dope sick. I've got no money, no food, no cigarettes, nothing, no vehicle. And I like call my dad. I'm like, "Dad, can I come home?" And shout out to my pops, dude. He let me come home. So that's enough about me. Corey, what about you?
Shout out to him.
Are you even old enough to drive, Corey?
Yeah. I am, Shawn.
Okay.
What do you want to
You
know
are
about
Shawn?
my car? The car that I have?
Car escapades, just any escapades.
Yeah.
Your vehicle, other people's vehicles.
Drone car.
Have you been pounded in the booted? What?
This is weird. Yeah, so there was one unfortunate end to probably one of. I think I had 2 vehicles before sobriety. One was short-lived. It was like my first car that my dad bought. And that just eventually probably just got taken away from me. The other one was also, but it belonged to my dad and my stepmother, and it was a Mazda 1995 Mazda MX-6. Big fan of Mazda, still am today.
Yeah, you have one now, don't you?
I've had a few. I've had 2 in sobriety, plus that one, so I've had 3. So, it's a small car. It was a 2-door, 5-speed, stick shift. Really liked it. It was a nice car for a long time. And during the last several months of my addiction, I ended up making it my home and living in it.
There. Yep.
And it's not the most comfortable car to sleep in, but I did it nonetheless. So yeah, same thing, Shawn. I didn't do oil changes very often and things like that. I did not, to my knowledge, like blow the engine out over it, but whatever. Plenty of things befell that car, and particularly, it wasn't running that great when this happened either. But one of the beginning of the end was when I was in Camden, New Jersey, one time, and I had just copped some drugs, and
In Camden?
yeah,
No way.
I know it's not just the city with a nice aquarium,
Right.
just so you guys know. And there was a country concert going on at the amphitheater there, and so I'm driving through traffic. I am actively trying to get high because I too was probably getting sick, and I stopped paying attention to the road as I was driving this 5-speed stick shift while I was trying to get high, and I ended up slamming into somebody's rear end. And
It wasn't Janine's, was it?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
You impounded her rear.
Sorry.
I guess I could have phrased that better.
We're a bunch of children on this podcast. Children.
Can't wait to get off of here. Anyway, so rear-ended somebody, and then I had a moment where I was like, because they kind of like pulled off, and then I like pulled up to the curb, and I was like, do I run? or do I not run? And I let a couple minutes go by, and they I couldn't find them visually. And wow, that's
Whoa.
guys, I hate this episode. Just so we
This is a
This
great
is one of my
episode.
favorites.
This has been we talked about our favorite episodes. This is
just make
we're
sure
ending the year on a bad note here. But
no, we're not. This is gonna air the day after Christmas.
Great.
Just make sure you click that box on YouTube, Corey. Not for kids. Make sure you click that box.
I might just fire it and put it on YouTube Kids.
Put it on YouTube, kids.
Yeah.
Dub it in
Anyway.
that Chinese voice, like some of those weird YouTube Kids shows.
Dub it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Go ahead,
Anyway,
sorry.
for the sake of this stupid ass story here, I literally put it in gear to run to pull the old hit and run, and somebody literally shows up at my passenger door like, "You hit my car," or whatever, and I was like, "Oh fuck, all right." So I got out, and as mad as they seemed when they were like, "You hit my car," when I got out, they were like, "Hey, bro, your car's fucked up, but mine's fine." And I was like, well, "That's good." And she's like, "Yeah, we're going to this concert, so we don't want to deal with anything. Sorry about your car, because mine is literally has like a 1-inch scratch on it." And I was like, "Awesome," because I don't have insurance either. So after that, it did not run well at all, but it made several more trips to the city and back, that's for sure. And I continued living in it until one day I was on the highway after I copped. I don't know.
Flights
And,
from city to country and back.
Yeah, and I hit something on the road. It popped my tire on Route 130 in Collingswood. And so I parked the car on the shoulder of the highway. I went and hid all my drugs just in case the cops came. The cops did come. Nobody called them, but they just showed up and said, "Oh, look, a vehicle," And yeah, long story short, they impounded it and all my belongings in my home. So
That was the end of that.
that was the end of that car, man.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I'm proud to say in 13 and a half years of sobriety, I've had 2 cars.
Yeah, I've
2
had,
cars. It's a different lifestyle. That's for damn sure.
I had the first one in sobriety that blew up in 12 hours.
We take care of our possessions around here in recovery. So
I don't know. I got a dent in my door that's still there. It's like,
yeah, it
spend
gives it character.
$1,000 on.
I got some
But-
scratches on mine. Yeah, I got some scratches.
But have either of you been pounded in recovery? That's
Well,
We gotta
let's,
stop.
on to the
Well,
spiritual segment. now.
yeah. Transitioning into the spirituality segment. But hey, listen, we forewarn the listeners. We talk about a good bit of nonsense on this show. Corey,
I hope
fire it in. You're reading tonight, sir.
Yeah. Let's just get into it. All right, Emmet Fox again. Funny enough, it's today's December 16th. So not today's as in when this airs. Anyway, it's titled "Make It Work." And this is from Proverbs 23:23. Buy the truth and sell it not, also wisdom and instruction and understanding. All you have of truth is what you understand of it. And what you understand, you always demonstrate. It naturally follows from this that the only way to improve yourself and your conditions is to gain an increase in understanding. And the only way to gain an increase in understanding is to make practical use of the truth you already know. Knowledge that you do not actually use is only intellectual knowledge and is barren. And even that fades out in time through lack of use. You will never demonstrate or progress on mere theories that you have not put to the test. You will never demonstrate or grow spiritually on what is in a textbook or lecture until you have begun to put such knowledge into practice. It is far better to have a thimbleful of spiritual knowledge and use it than to have a whole mountain of correct spiritual doctrine, most of which
You have never made
you
work.
have never made work. There's a thing over that word. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. So I just picked it obviously because it was today's. It was a good one. Reminds me of some other literature that we have that says the spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. And you know, I don't know. I find that, man, I don't know. I find I hate being like the guy that's always like, oh, I wax and wane, and sometimes I'm off the beam, sometimes I'm on the beam. I hate being that guy all the time, but like, I truly don't want to ever sit here or anywhere else and be like, look how fucking spiritual I am all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to.
No,
I've felt, I've had many times in sobriety that I felt like a fraud because I wasn't actually demonstrating the principles I was taught in all of my affairs. The only thing I've tried to do when I'm doing that is be, if not honest about it, not be lying about it. You know what I mean? About I just don't want to put on the facade. I think I've done pretty good with that over the years. If I gave myself credit for anything that has happened, which I also try not to do, but yeah, I mean, it's no secret, man. It's one thing for us to put the drink and the drugs down. It's another to live comfortable and happy in our own skin. That's kind of truly what this becomes about, I think, is you know, finding true happiness, happy, joyous, and free. How God would want us to be. That rhymed. I should spit bars right now. Anyway, sorry. Oh, really? You guys can say stupid shit and I can't?
You want to battle?
But
yeah, DJ DeLuca might take you, dude.
Fine. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I was just reminded of that part. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. And theory is talking about it. Theory is what we do here. We talk about the spiritual life here. It's talking about it with maybe people that are new to sobriety, whatever. Anything you're using your voice with, that's all theory. It's altogether different when you're out there doing it and actually being the good Samaritan. Hopefully not telling too many people about it. That's a whole nother thing. Hopefully serving others and not doing it when it's convenient or when there's eyes on you. There's a lot of that.
Taylor Swift.
I've been Taylor Swift.
We love you, Taylor.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm done.
Thank you, Corey. It was a very good reading and thought-provoking. I will say that I do recognize that I have never, and I'm not saying this to be a jokester or funny, like I've never once thought of you as like the guy that's running around being like, look how spiritual I am. You've always done a very good job of calling yourself out appropriately when you're not on the beam or when you're slacking on something.
I agree.
Now, the other side of that is like, hey, let's
get on the beam.
Let's not slack so much. But I do appreciate your honesty and like how genuine you've been over the years with that.
It's kind of
especially
like,
to me one-on-one. Like you and I have had a lot of those conversations, and I appreciate that.
I was gonna say that, like when I'm like suffering from self-will and self-delusion or whatever's going on, that's why I'm like that, because I've always thought like if there's one last thing I can hold on to, it's be honest with at least one person, which is usually you, Shawn.
Right.
And B, at least don't put on the front that you're doing better than you are. That's it.
Well, because you said it too, like I forget exactly, like theorizing it is about talking about it. It's what we do on this podcast, what we do sometimes with other people. It's what we do in our recovery groups, really and truly.
Yes.
When we're talking in our recovery groups, we're sharing our experience, hopefully, but we are a lot of times theorizing and pontificating on certain aspects of recovery. And you're right. It is about going out and living it, day by day, and doing whatever you're doing for people in recovery, not in recovery, whatever the case may be. The reading, it reminded me of that whole idea of like, begin where you are, right? When I'm new in recovery, don't pretend that I have all this spiritual understanding and spiritual knowledge that I don't have. Don't mix word salad in the recovery groups and just try to sound good and try to be like whatever. Just acknowledge that I have, very little experience in recovery and very little knowledge, spiritual knowledge. But the great thing about it is, our good friend, JC, right? Jesus Christ, man. He said, all you need is, a mustard seed of faith, right? That's a parable, one of the oldest, most commonly known parables in the Bible You can just have the smallest amount of faith, and that's sufficient, and that's enough. And Emmet Fox talks about this a lot in his readings. Like, all you need is the basic, like really all you need is a willingness to be spiritual or learn spiritual principles. And that's actually what pleases the God of our understanding, and like the best place we can possibly start. I love the reading, how it talked about like just spiritual knowledge, doctrine, book knowledge is just that. It's book knowledge. And my mentor would always say, um, you know, the book knowledge, the doctrinal knowledge coupled with the practical application is like an unstoppable force, right? Um, and that's the beautiful thing about it, is we learn how to take like a lot of the stuff we do one-on-one with our mentors and other brothers in recovery is doctrinal and informational, until like the day where it's like, the old saying, like, shut up and get in the truck, we're heading out, right? One of the most important things my mentor did was he taught me how to close our recovery textbooks and go out and let's go pick someone up. Let's go do this. Let's go take this, whatever, go visit a detox or a hospital or whatever the case may be. All of us, we find traditional forms of mentorship in sitting down, one alcoholic, one addict to another, sharing our experience, strength, and hope. And the more we do the work on ourselves with our mentors and with God, inventory process, making amends, whatever the case may be, like that's how we gain that truth in the reading. Whoever's not watching this, eventually the word truth in that reading was a capital T, insinuating a higher power. And that's how we learn the truth, is by going out and trying to repair the damage done in the past and stuff like that. So great reading, very deep. I like it. Take us home, Billy.
Yeah, you guys covered most of it, but from a recovery standpoint, or maybe anything in life that has led to high levels of delusion or not, not really understanding, stripping that down to that basic truth so that you can have that threadbare, the flimsy reed to hold on to, is an important process.
Mm.
And then identifying, okay, like this has been corroborated as the truth by someone I trust, or maybe a couple of people I trust. I know this fact about myself. This is a starting point, an entry point. And then for me, whenever I really got down to business, I didn't want to pontificate. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to read the wordy book. I just really wanted to learn practical application. And I have a part written down where it says that I can gain the confidence of another person in this condition and help them out very quickly. And next to that, I have why it works, right? So if I take how it works and why it works and put that into practical application, which is very important for me, because the messages for me early in recovery had to be simplified, because I just wanted to know the action. And that's probably what saved my life, was basing my thought process on what's the action for the week. Don't lie, don't litter, don't don't do this, genuinely try to just be a little bit better. And then, like it said in the reading, is like, then I kind of had like a base to build things off of. And then I had 2 ideas, and then I had, 3.
Right.
So
and then it becomes a working part of the mind as you go forward. It just becomes part of who we are.
Exactly. Right. But at the beginning, you have to like dial in and just kind of like, what's that called when you cook something down? You had to just you had to get
crack
down
in the
to
microwave.
Yeah, pills in the microwave.
Simmer. Janine said
what is
simmer.
it called when you reduce it? A reduction.
Reduction.
Yeah. So you're taking all the bullshit out, and you're down to this little. You got a little demi glaze here, and you're like, this is a factual glaze, and we're gonna spice it up a little now. And now you just live wild and free.
Yeah.
No, but man, it seriously though, it was like that read, that flimsy read, for me, was like realizing, man, like the reason why I hate a lot of people isn't based off their actions, is based off my response from other situations. Like that was my original like idea that was like based out of truth about myself, that was like a catalyst to other ideas being also the truth that were implemented in the pyramid build up. So yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Corey. Great reading.
Listen, we can't toot our own horns. We can allow our friends to shout us out. I'll shout Bill out, because he was as messed up as he was when he got to the rooms of recovery, And I say that like jokingly, but in sincerity, as burnt out as he was, and how there was a lot of like whatever ideas going on in practice, Bill was out pounding the pavement trying to help people, possibly even at a time in his recovery when he didn't really have the true message to give yet. But one of the things that Bill did, he understood the value of service, even back in the day, from going out and feeding the homeless to helping the guys out in the halfway house that needed stuff. And then obviously, it's been documented that he became the manager of that halfway house, and one of the managers, and was able to help people in a different way. But I'll shout that out, because Bill was doing that from an early point. So that was one of the things that always stuck out to me. That was one of the things that made me say, you know what, this guy just might make it. There's some hope for this guy.
Down on the pavement, baby.
And I love what you said about the littering thing, because I used to litter so much in my addiction. I would
Dude,
just
I would dump shit out my window in my
Me
shitty
too,
car.
dude. Glass bottle, like anything. I was so bad to the environment. And that was legitimately something that was on one of my first inventories. And it was like part of my living amends was like, be good to the environment and
adopt
clean
the
up.
highway.
Yeah, seriously, in a sense. Yeah, I've never have, but that was a big thing. So, and those are like the little practical things we can do in early recovery or whenever in recovery, the day-to-day stuff that we can just help make us better people. You know what I mean? Like, you see something in the parking lot, pick it up, throw it away.
That was my amends, literally. I mean, still to this day, I'll do it. Not like to the fervor that I did then, but was go around and pick trash up off the ground. I mean, that'll humble your ass real quick.
Big time. Big time. So I see it a lot on the golf course. I'll pick it up on the golf course, so.
Well, do it in the hood, Shawn.
Do it in the hood. Corey, any parting thoughts, sir?
I have none.
Thank you for the reading. It was a very good reading.
Shout out Grizz.
Shout out Grizz. Shout out Mike Leone.
Oh, hell
shout out Danny P and the Yukon Huskies.
Yep.
Shout out to Janine and her awesome stories. Every now and then Janine comes in with a zinger. A couple weeks ago we had the $5 check fraud Rock Road jail story, and tonight
we're gonna actually try to see if we can get her to put the transcripts of the chat into the into the video too, guys. So stay tuned for that.
God help us all. Shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send in mailbag requests for topics, questions, comments, a further explanation on some of these stories if you want. To any of these handles, remember we are here if anyone sincerely wants to talk about recovery and our experiences, or if you're struggling with some form of addiction, there is hope out there. God loves you all. Thank you again to Janine and Stella Mix Podcast Management. Merry Christmas. Hope everyone, by the time you listen to this, you've had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and holiday season. And let us here on the Trudge Report be the first to wish you a happy new year, you filthy animals. Good night, God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny. We'll see you next time.